Oh, it's live, House.
The following contest scheduled for one fall.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
You never came looking for me to prove that you're the baddest. So, I've come looking for you to prove you're not.
All over the country, people have been asking me, why, Eddie, why?
Week after week, trying to make me look like a jackass.
Lately, he just hasn't been very oozy. I'm home.
This ain't no disco. Ain't no country club either. This is the 3 Count Thursday podcast. So let's go, baby.
Chin up, tits out, and watch for the shoe.
Hello, everyone. 3CT. We are live. It is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. We are glad to be back with you for another one. Make sure you are following along on all of our social channels. We are at 3 Count Thursday, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Blue Sky, Twitter, TikTok. You can also get us on YouTube and all podcast platforms. You can also get our merchandise over on our TeePublic store. We do have some new stuff over there. The Angry Mark shirt, the new blue logo, which we unveiled last night during Monday Night Raw. We have that up there on the store as well. So make sure you go ahead and check that out. Check what sales are up there today, tomorrow, and whatnot. So make sure you pop over there. As always, you can leave us a voicemail on our voicemail line. We will have one during the show tonight, as Tim is showing you where to call, how to call. 717-473-7833. It's also in the episode description on all podcast platforms as well. So make sure you do check that out. We would certainly appreciate that. Devin and Charlie apologizing to Devin for being late. I mean, we were late. And Devin says, what's up, guys? Hope everybody had a good Mania weekend. Well, we're going to talk about it and see if it was good or not. But let's start and let's go around the room. Ryan.
Hello, Smokey.
Check.
Yes. Hello.
Is it turned on this time?
It is.
Well, that's a marked improvement already for me. It's nice to be able to talk right into the microphone and it not be muted when you.
I don't know what happened. We can't hear Ryan anymore. I didn't do it, man. We can't hear you, bro.
Come on, unmute me.
There you
Ha,
go.
yeah,
Hi,
that's
Ryan.
a funny one. I didn't do anything. Yeah, and then you put your hands down. All of a sudden, I'm unmuted. Screw you. Was good up until 15 seconds ago.
Okay, well, thank you. Tim, how hold on, let me play the sounder of all sounders.
You all right, cuz? I'm great, man. WrestleMania is over. Got 350 some days till WWE gets another stab at giving us a 2-night WrestleMania. Because if we get another one like this, I don't know. I don't want to belabor the point, but let's get into it, baby. Let's lock it up.
All right, intern Mark.
You all right, cuz?
Bob, I'm okay. Jim, I ain't got antlers on my walls, but I sure know mating calls. Tim, I'm speaking. From the stalls and the bars on a Friday night. And other boys may need a map,
I'm going to
but I can close my eyes, touch it in the back, and have you wrapped around my fingers
In the ass.
like that. No. Hello. I'm fired up, and let me tell you another thing, Tim. If that Mr. Beast has the guts to show up at Hershey again, he's got me involved.
That just put me in a bad mood.
I'm sorry, Tim. We're here to talk wrestling. It's going to put you in a good mood. Bob! Jim, how are you doing? You all right, sir?
Well, hi, Mark.
Hi, boys.
Mark says he's fired up. So I warn everybody. I apologize to anybody within the sound of our voices.
I apologize. I've been drinking. I've been drinking. I get filthy, Jim, when that Gold Peak tea get in me.
They're not a sponsor. Don't give them a free plug. There you go.
I've been drinking.
Gold Peak can sponsor us. They don't
can.
even need to give us money. Just send us free tea.
Why can't I
fine
keep
with
my
free
fingers
tea.
off it, Jim?
I love tea. Send some free tea.
Tim, are you a teaman? Tim?
Am I? Me?
Tim?
Tim's a teaman.
Yes, I love tea.
Oh, you love it. Okay.
Charlie says, look at Tim and Mark in their big boy shirts with collars.
Yeah, that's
Astute observation.
Which, first off, for all of us in this room right now, all of our shirts are big boy shirts.
big
So,
boy.
let's first off, let's be fair about that.
Hey there, big boy.
But otherwise, yes.
Now, what shirt are you wearing there, Smokey? That's Smokey.
I knew it was going to be a special week for me when Smokey ran up and jumped in my arms.
Poor Brett hasn't been the same since.
No, he has not.
Sure hasn't been.
I think that's what caused the stroke.
Oh, he had a stroke? Is that why he is the way he is?
He did. It's
Just bitter
poor
and shitty
Brett.
toward Triple H for no reason?
I don't know.
There's plenty of reason.
Yeah, there is plenty
reason.
of reason.
He looked like a sour puss.
Maybe Brett can see the future, and he knew what was about to happen over the next 24 to 48.
Brett's wife could see the future.
Wow, that's true. All right, so
Julie,
Brett,
my wife Julie.
That was his wife Julie.
Julie.
WrestleMania was this weekend.
Today. No, this weekend.
This weekend. NXT, I believe, is right now today as we're talking. I should probably have that on my screen next to me while we're doing this. But let's talk about it. There was good, there was bad, there was ugly, there was everything in between. Who wants to lead us off? You can pick if you want to talk
You're
about
the host, Jim. I'm sick of you belaboring it, and you drive. You're the driver. Drive.
Jimmy, we're going to go match by match.
I'm so
Let's start on night one.
All right,
that's a
very
good
good
place to start.
Start with
Night
night one. So we yes, Mark.
All right, now I have a serious, legitimate wrestling-related question.
Okay, go ahead.
Start with night one.
Night one.
Can we start with the pre-show?
What was on the pre-show?
Exactly, Tim. Exactly.
Mark, are you telling me you're upset that there's no matches on the pre-show?
Why did they not have any matches on the pre-show?
Because you don't need to watch the pre-show.
Well, Mark, how many football games take place on the 2-hour walk up to football games ever?
You're asking the wrong person that
You're
question.
asking the wrong, probably 2 or 3. You can get that many in 2 hours.
Oof.
Two-hand
Yeah, that was
touch.
the wrong person to ask.
I don't have a clue, Timmy. Now, if you want
I
to
know
talk
you
about
don't.
badminton,
Well, even if it was badminton, baseball, basketball,
Mark,
volleyball.
let's liken it to a concert, Mark. The
No.
doors open. The doors open at a certain time. The concert starts at a certain time. How many bands go on before the opening act of the concert?
before the opening act, sometimes they have somebody comes out and warms you up a little.
That is not true. That is not what happens.
You might have somebody come out and talk and be like, hey, it's great to be back in insert city name here. And people give, they're excited and they applaud.
That's what the WWE does.
Who's excited to see insert name of band here? What about insert name of other band here?
Right. I feel like that's what the WWE does.
But you know what? What about that pre-show match?
The last WrestleMania that had pre-show matches was 35, right?
Are you serious?
Because the Andre Battle Memorial was on the pre-show.
Yes, I appreciate you giving it its legal government name, by the way.
Because that's the one that had Colin Jost in it. That's the only thing I remember. And Michael
Shea and Colin Jost, yeah.
Michael O'Shea, I went to high school with him.
No, you didn't.
Michael O'Shea, he's a cop down in Ocean City, Maryland.
That makes sense.
That actually checks out.
When, besides WrestleMania 35, which you were in attendance to, I don't know if you were in your seat by the time the pre-show matches began, But prior to WrestleMania,
we were out of breath from hiking the entire way because we didn't know they had escalators there.
That was so bad. That was so bad. We hiked all the way to the top. And Jim, I was in my seat, but I was sold my entire seat. But I only needed the etch.
Well, I heard that was just because the seats in the upper deck at MetLife Stadium were a bit small.
They were a little tight. It was
Mark, what else match was on that pre-show? Can you remember?
They had the cruiserweight title. What was the 205 Live belt? They had Aaron Neville against the guy that's no longer part of any wrestling. What's his name?
What is his name? You were there. I wasn't there.
It was Aaron Neville against Aaron Neville against the guy. He came in. He had a lot of hype, and then they put him on 205 Live, and he wrestled in TNA a lot, and he kicked out of Johnny Nitro's finisher like it was nothing. Or actually, didn't kick out of it. He just got up and walked out of the ring.
So Aaron Neville or Adrian Neville, whichever one you're trying to say, was not in the Cruiserweight Championship match at WrestleMania 35. By the way,
are you sure?
I'm looking at the card right now.
Now, it wasn't Enzo.
It was not Enzo.
I know there was a tag team match. I remember a tag team match.
There was a tag team match.
Because that's where Hawkins and somebody else. Was it Hawkins and Ryder?
It was Hawkins and Ryder got the win over
the Hardy Boys.
No.
The Bushwhackers.
No.
Boy, well, I'm not going to remember that.
I'm trying to remember who they wrestled.
Because they won the tag team championships.
They did. They won the Raw tag team titles.
Are they okay? So I have a question. Did the people they face, are they still with WWE or are they gone?
They are not with WWE anymore, but they are still wrestling.
It's FTR.
It is FTR,
Revival,
formerly known as the
Holy
Revival.
Cat. Why don't I remember that?
So that, and then the Battle Memorial was on there.
And then the ladies won.
There was a ladies battle memorial.
That was Naomi.
That was not Naomi.
Alert.
Okay. I don't remember who won the other Fallopian Cup.
That was the Fallopian too.
She is no longer in the WWE.
Mae Young.
No.
Mickey James.
No.
Carmella
won. She last eliminated Sarah Logan.
Mella is money.
So that is 3 out of the 4 pre-show matches.
Does it have the list of women that participated in that match?
Probably.
I'd love to look that up.
Yes. So it was Maria Kanellis, Candice LeRae, Nikki Cross, Naomi, Ember Moon, Lana, Kairi Sane, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Zelina Vega, Dana Brooke, Mandy Rose, Mickey James, Sonya Deville, Asuka, and Sarah Logan.
Oh wow! So pretty much the AEW women's roster.
Kind of. Or TNA.
Some Ring of Honor and TNA thrown in there.
Ring of Honor, TNA. So there was a cruiserweight title match. Aaron, Adrian, or just plain Neville was not in it.
Enzo was though, right?
No.
Okay.
That was the guy that wears the patch. Doesn't he have a patch on his eye? Patchy.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yes. Patchy. The pirate gimmick.
The
PCO.
pirate, yes.
No, it was not PCO.
This was 7 years ago, and 205 Live was still a thing.
That's crazy.
6 years ago.
All right. So who was other 205 Live champions?
Buddy Matthews.
Oh, Buddy Murph.
Oh, I think Buddy Murphy.
Murph
was
lost.
it Murphy and Ali?
No.
Okay.
Murph lost. Murph lost the title. He came in champion, but he left as not champion.
He lost to what was the guy's name?
Mark, did you just kick your dog?
He sure did.
Cedric Alexander?
No.
No, he was Caucasian. Probably still is.
Cedric Alexander is definitely not
Cedric
Caucasian.
the Alexander?
I was going to, and I decided against it.
Yeah, Cedric the Entertainer.
Well, nobody asked Devin, but he gave the answer away. It's Tony Nese.
Well, that's not what Devin said.
That was
Devin
Tony
said it was
Neal.
Tony Neal. It was not Tony Neal.
I actually I paid up my Rosetta Stone today, and I paid up my Rosetta Stone today, so my Devin translator came in. It may come in handy later.
Thank God.
But yes, it was Tony Nese defeated Buddy Murphy to become the new cruiserweight champion. No, Mandy busted her ass on the way to the ring at 37 in the rain.
She could have busted her ass on the way to my ring.
Jesus, Mark.
I don't know what that means.
We know what that means.
Good Lord.
Can we talk about a more relevant WrestleMania?
Yes.
Well, we're getting
That was the last one with the matches on the pre-show.
It
We
was.
haven't had them for how many years, Mark?
Yeah.
Let's get
Thank
with
you
the
for
time.
reminding me why we took the scenic route.
Exactly. All right.
There was something that happened on the pre-show for night one, Mark. If you really want to talk about it, and I'd love to talk about it.
All right, let's
Tim,
talk
why don't
about
we
it.
talk about it? Since we're talking about the pre-show, why don't you talk about it?
Why did WWE have to pull Bayley from WrestleMania just to have someone else take the tag titles, only for then the tag titles to go back to the champions the next night on Raw?
You are overthinking this.
Lazy
No,
booking.
not.
You are. The answer is simple. They pulled Bayley because she was attacked. The WWE didn't choose to pull Bayley. She was attacked backstage and she could not perform. That's simple. Tim, a man of watching wrestling as long as you have, should understand that.
Okay,
It doesn't
so
have to make sense. And it really doesn't if you don't think about it.
Smokey,
But-
remember that?
I wish
she
I
was
could.
attacked, and that's why she didn't perform at WrestleMania.
I
No.
understand that. But, and then, however, WWE is coming out with a show called WWE Unreal that debunks that entire thought.
Is it out?
Lame.
It'll be out in the summer.
Then doesn't matter.
It's too early.
We'll have this conversation in July.
Hopefully. Perhaps. Mark,
Let's-
you have a
let's-
question.
Let's dog ear
Smokey,
this one.
Remember that time you weren't able to perform and you told your lady friends because you got attacked backstage?
No,
Please
there
let's-
was a
let's-
very different story. I wasn't attacked backstage, and we were about to have the segs.
There it is.
A funny song came on the television, and I couldn't, and I broke stride.
Well, it happens. It happens when you're not in your
Or-
prime.
Well,
Or,
You know.
or
it was
smoke.
college, Ryan. I should have been
Let's-
close.
You should have been in your prime.
You know what would be a great way to start all of our conversation about WrestleMania? Because I feel like it will spawn many a conversation, and I don't want to blow up your spot. We have a voicemail.
We do.
And since we can't figure out what to talk about,
Let's go to the voice.
let's hear someone else talk about it and then talk about what they talked about.
All right, all right.
do that. And again, if you ever want to leave us a voicemail, you can do that 717-473-7833. You can talk about wrestling. You can talk about other things. Normally on a Tuesday, we're not talking wrestling. This is a special day because it was WrestleMania. But let's go to the voicemail. Let's see what our listener. I know this is from Devin. He doesn't identify himself, but I could hear the thing dragging during the call. So it was Devin. It looks the dog's upset. All right, here's Devin.
It was just
I'm
Devin.
going to give my opinion about WrestleMania as a whole. Night one was good. The main event was a show stealer. Made that whole show look a lot better. Sunday, there were some good matches. I'm not going to give the women's triple threat a negative review because of how I felt. Joe Hendry and Randy Orton was a fun, quick match. The main event and the finish proves to me that The Rock didn't have a plan. Pat's elimination chamber, and he just dropped everything and said, Triple H, John Cena, figure it out. And the biggest surprise they could have pulled out of their butts was Travis Scott coming out and taking his sweet time coming to the ring to do whatever he did. And I already know Tim's going to be, this, that, anything in Gem 2. He's going to defend WWE, you know this. But the main event on night 2 of WrestleMania was a big fat disappointment. And I know John Cena said he was going to ruin wrestling. but you could have put a little bit more effort into that whole match. And it made me question my fandom of wrestling. It's not John Cena that's ruining wrestling, it's The Rock who's ruining wrestling. Because he wants to show up at a moment's notice to rush the writers to write something for him, and he's not going to say the stuff that they write for him and do his own thing and try to start something that he knows he won't be around to continue. So I was disappointed in night 2 of WrestleMania, and yeah, John Cena won his 17-time World Championship. Still love John Cena. I'm a John Cena kid for life, but it proves to me that The Rock is only out for The Rock.
Yes, Tim.
Don't put words in my mouth. Never, ever. Second of all,
can he put chimichangas in your mouth?
Can't put nothing in my mouth.
Really?
For Devin, this hole up here and other subsequent holes are no-go zones.
Okay.
Even if I make a hole with my hand, no-go zone.
You might not have a choice.
If I put my heels together and the balls of my feet together and I make a little hole there, that's a no-go zone. Okay?
Hear that, Jim?
I'm not saying I know how to do it. I just might have done some research. Now, Devin, I appreciate the phone call.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, we absolutely
Please
do.
identify yourself.
I appreciate it.
Please identify yourself, leaving a voicemail just like you would anywhere else. If you ever call my phone and you just start talking and you'll say, hey, it's me. And don't say it's me, say Devin. Hey, it's Devin. Or Big Dick Devin. Or BDD. Or former independent wrestling referee Devin. Or whatever it is you want to say.
Or just a thudding noise.
Yeah, just do something.
I would accept a thud noise. That would pop me
do something
beyond belief. Where's Big Dick?
We're gonna Tarantino. I'm at least Tarantinoing it right here. I don't know how you said that night 1 of WrestleMania was a huge success and night 2 is the failure when it took 5 matches of night 1 to get to WrestleMania. Tell me anything fun that happened night 1. 0 things. It took LA Knight and Jacob Fatu to kinda open the show after 4 other matches had happened.
Yeet.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. The yeet and the celebration really occurred Monday night. That was the moment for Mr. Uso that should have been Saturday night when he won. I don't know. There was something missing from that match. It was an okay match. The right person won, I believe, but there was something missing there, man. I don't know if it was just people still getting their seats. Hi, Big Mac.
Hi, Big Mac.
Can't say tardiness anymore. It's 2025.
You can. You just can't. You just can't do it more than once.
Oh, okay.
Tardiness.
Well, welcome.
You
Then.
can't repeat your tardiness. I won't shorten it.
You can't be tardy twice. So I'd be like, you
don't say it. Just don't.
Yeet.
You got it.
Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Get us canceled.
Don't. Yeah, the Jey Uso match. I think, and Tim, I think as we discussed it when we were watching it live together, I think the theory of an adrenaline dump with Jey Uso is probably what happened there. Which
could have been anything else.
Really
which it stinks. It's a huge moment. It's a bummer, but he won. Cool. I think his post-show press conference was more worth the watch than the match.
Do you have that clipped out?
I don't. I need to work on it. It's been a week.
I feel like go ahead.
He puts 4 words together that don't go together. It's like yeet, fire, internet. I don't like. And then as world heavyweight champion World Heavyweight Champion. He goes, I'm damn near World Heavyweight Champion. No, dog, you did it. You're just too faded. You don't remember. You don't remember you already fought Gunther. That's why on Monday you had to come out and redo it all. He's like, yo, I choked him out. I watched the tape back. I know where I was.
Yeah, I need to get that and clip that together because that was that was a fun one. That was a good one.
I don't think anybody's ever going to put that on like one of their Mount Rushmores of greatest matches. I feel like if you go back and watch it, it actually holds up a little bit better. If you just watch the match itself, the match itself wasn't awful. There was some awkwardness abound with it. I don't know. It was a weird opener. It definitely didn't have that like fucking this is WrestleMania start pomp and circumstance that you would feel with an opening match of WrestleMania. And again, it sucks that I go back to 35, but like Brock Lesnar, Seth Rollins kicking off the show, you were like, holy shit, Brock's in and out. Like Brock's the big star opening WrestleMania. This is crazy. Like that was that wow moment that just didn't happen. I don't know why it just felt weird, but I happen to agree with Tim because Saturday went downhill quickly after that.
Yeah, the next two matches are pretty much wholly unwatchable.
You mean unwatchable?
The New Day and the War Raiders, not good. Look, I'm sure that would have been a great match 7 years ago. Kudos to the New Day for trying their best.
That would have been a great Raw main event.
Yep.
That's where that match belongs. And you're going to leave the three other teams on a fucking ladder match from SmackDown off this card? That's the choices y'all made.
Yeah, that was bad.
He ain't lying.
He ain't lying. Bob.
Jade Naomi.
It was fun.
It was fun.
There was intensity there, and that's what the first two matches missed, right? Like Jay and Gunther, there was no intensity. There was no fire. Even though Jay liked to talk about it during his press conference. Yeet. The same goes with the New Day and the War Raiders. I didn't feel like there was any intensity. At least with Jade and Naomi, there was an intensity there.
There was a lot of story in that one.
And they did okay. It lets me know that like Jade's got a little ways to go, but she's got star presence, and that's really you'll get you a long way. And Naomi tried her best, man. Tried to help and shepherd that match, right?
Naomi did everything she could to carry that match.
Yes, she did.
Tim and I talked about that actually. Like, what is missing with Jade Cargill? Is it just actual in-ring time? Because she's a star. She's a spectacle. She worked well in AEW because she was put with small people that she could ragdoll, and she looked Goldberg-esque, just running through talent, and she created like this streak. And in WWE, it's cliche to say, and then the bell rang.
Yeah.
How do you
by the way, Joe Hendry on NXT right now. More on him later.
Did you say his name?
He appeared first, and then I said his name.
I think I might have found the Jey Uso clip, by the way.
Hit it.
Hell yeah, I love it. Fire. Internet, I don't know what it is. Soak it in, because this is it right here. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but hell yeah. 2-time world shot girls. I'm damn near world heavyweight champ. Yo.
And then he goes on. And then he goes on to, because the person who asked him the question was a French guy. And then he slips into a French accent. And he goes, I thank you for the question. Yeet. Like, he was so turned. The reason why I know is because when he is messed up, he talks about Kasama.
I thought
A
it passed
WWE
away.
employee. She been here since my daddy was here. She was here since both our daddies were here, talking with him and Cody. Like he was, and I would be too. Top of the world.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Well, why not?
Sign me up, man. I'd be drunk and
Vegas
high at
world
the same time.
champion. Dude, yeah. I mean, it's amazing that he was still there to get to the podium. Like that's
And WWE don't test for weed no more. You want to know how I know? I heard at least 3 references this weekend that Pat McAfee be doing commentary high as a kite.
Yeah.
Well,
Can't hide money.
And all I have to say is, where can I get that job?
right?
I'd love to.
Yeah, it's
Dogs are upset.
I am too.
yeah, I'm upset. I am upset.
Go to the vet.
Then then we had Jacob Fatu defeating LA Knight.
Heck yeah.
That felt as close to a WrestleMania match as the first 4 matches on WrestleMania presented us.
That is correct.
Jacob's spectacular. Look, nobody's
solid.
gonna discredit Jacob. LA Knight is a pro as well.
Yeah.
How about that what the hell's his finisher? The
BFT.
The BFT kind of out of a jumping moonsault.
Fantastic.
Jacob, that was sick. That really was. Fatu, multiple jumping moonsault. The guy's
every time he hits those, man, I'm just it amazes me, and I hope I hope, because I think he even said in a post show interview somewhere that like this is only scratching the surface now, and I'm like, so awesome, looking forward to that.
And kudos to Haku showing up. Like,
yeah.
I don't know how he got past security, but again, what security is going to be dumb enough to stop Haku?
Hey, are you stopping Haku?
You don't stop Haku.
No.
Now, how's Haku related to them? I know there's a family connection.
Well, I guess by blood, Mark.
Haku is the dad of Tama Tonga and Tongaloa.
That's right. Yes.
And then
something like that.
Jacob is the son of Tongan Kid.
Okay.
All right, his old tag team partner.
Yes.
All right.
Then we had El Grande Americano. Yes, Mark.
Oh, here we go. What's
Now,
up?
before we get to El Grande the Americano, how many years until you think Jacob Fatu's in the main event at a WrestleMania? 2 or 3? 2?
Probably 2.
Because it's going to happen.
It should happen.
It's going to happen. The guys
better happen. Let's be honest. El Grande Americano defeats Rey Fenix. This probably should have been the match that we saw on SmackDown that got Rey Mysterio injured again.
How cool is it to have Rey Fenix fill in for Rey Mysterio?
I mean, it's cool. The match itself was probably better than it would have been with Rey Mysterio. But it's I think adding extra bumps to Rey Mysterio's bump card at this point probably ill-advised the night before WrestleMania.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was also a nice segue to see Vikingo there and like audibly talk about the AAA relationship.
Yes,
it served its relationship acquisition
or acquisition, right?
Yeah,
it's a full-blown marriage.
Right at that time, it was announced that they acquired it.
It was announced on the pre-show.
Oh, okay.
The pre-shows are important.
Okay,
that's right. Well,
I know they talked about the NXT AAA show. I didn't know they had already announced the acquisition. Okay.
Those were hand in hand. It was we've acquired AAA and we are doing a Worlds Collide in June. I think it's June 7th.
Before the Money in the Bank, right?
Yep. It's that Saturday. June 7th.
That
what
Saturday.
Was the other Worlds Collide WWE did with another part? Was that with
it was NXT and NXT UK?
Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think you're right.
The British.
And then that was right before the pandemic, right? Was that before the pandemic?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think it was one of the matches on that card was Luke Harper versus Dijak.
So yeah, that was definitely pre-pandemic.
Yeah, I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, do a journalism on that. And then we got to really what I thought was WrestleMania Night 1, the final 2 matches of the night. Tiffany Stratton defeating Charlotte Flair to retain the women's world title. This match was probably better than I thought it was going to be. I don't think it was certainly was not the best women's match we've ever seen. But you know, I feared that it was going to be worse. But a strong showing. Tiffany Stratton gets the win that I think she definitely needed. And hopefully now with a win over Charlotte, there can be more to come from her women's title reign, because I mean, it hasn't been great, like the reign itself, but when you win it in January and you go right into Mania season, it's hard to really do a whole lot, because you know who the opponent's going to be. It's just a matter of getting to there, and there was multiple months between the two, so that's it's a crappy spot.
I'm not going to reward it for having low expectations. I had low expectations. I missed most of Night 1 live. I rewatched the entire thing. This match is doo-doo. This was not a really good wrestling match. It's clunky as hell. I did not enjoy this. I thought it was one of Charlotte's worst matches. And I feel like Tiffany Stratton and Charlotte wrestled down to each other's level. Like it just wasn't very good at all. I had low expectations, and they met my low expectation. I would give this match like a D+. It was not a good match.
I like the use of the word clunky. That kind of sums it up. It was clunky.
It really did.
It was clunky. Trish Stratus came out with that big cut on her head and chipped tooth, and looked like she was beating like a Water Street. Well,
Jesus, Mark.
Hell.
First off, Tiffany Stratton, not Trish Stratus, 2 different people.
Right.
For one.
I was a little surprised to see that Tiffy kept the title. I was happy, but I really thought they were going to give it to Charlotte.
I thought for sure that Charlotte was probably going to win. But yeah, I'm glad she didn't. Charlie said he loved this match, reminded him of Rhea and Charlotte from the Pandemic Mania. I disagree. I don't think
there was the moment the girls turned it on and they started and looked like really like laying it in. That did happen. If that's what you mean, yeah, sure. But I just
I found the match Tiffany did need that win. The one thing I took away from it, and Marcus took the same away from it, is Tiffany is not ready for the prime time. She I feel like WWE is trying to, like, and rightfully so, gifted and talented, yes. Is the future, yes. This wasn't it, man. And like for the Brian and I were watching the same match but 2 different people. Because I felt that Tiffany didn't play up to Charlotte. Not saying Charlotte wasn't the Charlotte of old.
No.
But she's still better than like 75% of the roster.
This match had Naomi Jade vibes.
Oh no.
I disagree with that.
Really?
Very much. Yeah.
And that I think one needed to lead the other one. Well, okay, that's a fair point, because I think Naomi did everything she could to lead.
Right. And Charlotte
Jade and Charlotte, I don't know. It just didn't connect for me.
I'm cool with a little clunkiness too, right? It's not ballet. Like, I like it to look a little grimy.
Big Mac
at
says
times.
the most Charlotte has looked like Charlotte. Charlotte returned. Charlie, kind of on that line, says it was a
Right.
fight, it was a struggle, it was a contest. I mean, struggle could be a word for it. At least at some points. But right, like I don't think every match has to be a clean choreographed, special. I think sometimes it's something that looks more combative can be good. But yeah, I mean, again, it wasn't the best. I don't think it was the worst. I don't think it was anywhere near the level of what Jade and Naomi was. It was certainly not the best women's match of the weekend. Let's be fair. We'll talk about that in a minute.
I expect more out of a Charlotte Flair match at WrestleMania than what we got. And I don't give a shit who Charlotte Flair's dancing partner is. She's Charlotte fucking Flair.
I think that's fair. I mean, I would probably,
and I could come off that D-. You guys can convince me like it's a C match, then I'll come off that D- pretty easily. But it just, if it just didn't do it, man.
I don't think we have to convince anybody what they feel about the show.
No, and I'm not saying
wrong.
that you do. I'm just saying if it is like egregiously wrong, then I'll admit that maybe I wasn't in the mood to watch that match at the time or whatever. Maybe it wasn't as bad as I'm thinking.
Did you watch this after night two?
I watched it night 2 live with you. I caught some of night 1. I caught the main event night 1. I caught Naomi's match night 1, and Knight and Jacob fought too. So I was kind of in and out on Saturday.
Okay.
But this match I did watch after night 2, and it has nothing to do with how good the women's match on night 2 was. That has nothing to do with.
Well, I was going to hypothesize that was the what happened at the end of night 2. Did it sour anything else that you were observing from the show? Did it have an impact on?
No.
Okay.
No, and there's plenty to pick about beyond how night 2 ends as well. Like this. Thank God this happened in Vegas, because hopefully it just fucking stays there.
Right? I don't know what it is about WrestleManias in Vegas, but
what happens in Vegas can
do better.
Stay in Vegas. Man.
Anything else about night 1 before we talk about the main event? Because I feel like the main event is night 1. I think the wild part about this WrestleMania is I feel like WrestleMania, like night 1 was a 1-match show. Night 2, it was everything until the end.
One thing, a couple of things and takeaways, and there's a through line throughout the entirety of WrestleMania. I don't disagree with a single outcome from any of the matches at WrestleMania.
Okay.
I think how we got, what we got at Mania across the board was the right decision for a future, right? And that goes across every match, regardless of how meaningful or meaningless it was. And WWE really focused on moments over matches heavily, especially in night 1. And that hurt because you should focus on the matches that become the moments in night 1. And then the main event happens, and it just palate cleanses every effing thing that happened in night 1.
It really did.
It did.
Yeah.
Charlie left a comment here. There should have been more forearms and Falcon arrows and people kicking out of top row Styles Clash. Would have been a better match. Like I picking up your sarcasm, Charlie. And now Charlie is actually the guy that Devin was talking about in his voicemail. Not Tim and I just whitewashing everything WWE did on Saturday and Sunday. Charlie apparently is that guy in the comments. Love you, Charlie. Love you, Devin. Again, thank you for the voicemail.
I just don't understand. We're
not saying that Tiffany or Charlotte or Jade or Naomi or the new to anybody in this undercard what is bad, a bad wrestler, bad person, whatever, because night one was 5 matches of SmackDown matches, one match of like, this is WrestleMania-ish, and then one WrestleMania match. Like, it's not a wrestler's fault. Like, that is it's a
If
problem.
that's directly about Charlotte, like so we have Charlotte, like the 16-time, 15-time women's world champion.
14 or 15, yeah.
15.
I believe they're calling it 15.
The like that staple dominant blonde in the WWE for the last decade. This should have been like that passing the torch moment to Tiffany Stratton, the new blonde on the block, built similar, has the same abilities as Charlotte Flair, and it just fell short. Whether it's a dogfight or it was a totally choreographed moves with Falcon arrows and Styles clashes off the top rope, it just fell short of that expectation that I thought this match should have had. I don't know. It's
a women's title match, the second to last match of a night of WrestleMania. There should be a higher expectation,
and it's where it should have been on the card. Like, this should be an important match,
right?
And people are entitled to having off nights. Whatever, shit happens. I don't feel like I don't feel like it was just an off night where they just didn't click to it. Just, I don't know, man. It was clunky. I don't know another word to describe it. It just felt clunky.
Yeah.
It was, but at the end of it all, it is Tiffy hitting the prettiest moonsault ever in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. No cute kickouts, no cute anything. And it's Charlotte doing the honors and putting Tiffany Stratton over and passing the torch. Like, the only thing I can question, and I'm curious to see what they do on SmackDown, but it's like, it's such a definitive win for Tiffany. I don't know where Charlotte goes next.
Home for about 8 months.
So she'll be there for summer. It's like 2-night SummerSlam. I feel like we'll get a
yeah, they have to have a Summerfest with Charlotte.
We'll get a Charlotte.
And Tim, I will 100% agree with you. I don't think there's an outcome on WrestleMania that I will disagree with. You can make an argument about the women's tag match, but that ultimately set up the heel turn on Raw, and the belts going back to Liv and Mega Mommy. But
because we had to get the heel turn that nobody asked for.
To get that correct, Raw. Yes, right. Like, that was the only result you can question.
I mean, I'm fine with a Becky Lynch heel turn. I don't need it to happen at the expense of Pam.
Like, you know what you could have done.
Attacked Pam, Jim. You don't know who did it.
We don't. You're right. We don't.
But also, you could have very easily had Becky walk out on Lyra at Mania. You never have a title change. And the match that you have on the Raw after Mania becomes a promo segment. And then Becky beats down Lyra. And then you do on the Raw after Mania, you get the title match that you set up from NXT Stand and Deliver. You bring in Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan on a big stage on Monday Night Raw against Liv and Raquel, and Liv and Raquel retain.
Monday Night Raw did everything it can to build new stars, Tim. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, we will.
We will talk about that.
Mania.
Charlie says night one was a B- show. It's the only, and that's only because of the main event.
I agree with you, Charlie. I'm right there.
So
yeah.
So one match raises 4 matches from failing to passing?
That one did, yes.
That one match gives the entire card a GPA of 3.0? Ooh.
Charlie. All right, let's talk about the main event.
It was a good match.
Was it?
It was a great match.
It is a match of the year candidate.
Sure,
It's
is.
on my list.
It's on my list. Absolutely
On my list.
Seth Rollins.
It maybe made that a C- night one for WrestleMania. A B- to me is very generous.
Seth Rollins defeats Roman Reigns, CM Punk. A new alliance, which we saw even grow further on Monday Night Raw last night. But Paul Heyman leaves with Seth Rollins. Let's talk about it.
A lot of story there, a lot of sizzle.
The entrances were cool.
Yep.
Have living color there, Tim, was fantastic. Now it's not in living color, it's living color.
I understand. Just like
In
it was
living color
Flavor
was the show.
Flav at night 2 and not Flava Flav.
Yes,
It's
Flavor
Flavor Flav.
What flavor?
Flavor Flav.
But night 1 was the main event of night 1 was that was in retrospect, WWE got one right. Because if we would have gotten that Jay and Gunther match to close WrestleMania, night 1 would have been an all-out failure.
No, that's not true.
Yes.
Nah, that crowd would have been so fucking hot for Jey Uso. The yeeting and what we saw on Monday would have closed night 1 and it would have been fine. That match would have been a bonkers fun match. The crowd would be all over it. Yes, the crowd would totally.
The crowd being hype has nothing to do with how good the match was.
It absolutely does.
No, because they were hype for the dog shit match they opened with, Ryan. They wanted to yeet
the closing
regardless.
moments of WrestleMania with Jey Uso winning the championship to close night 1 of WrestleMania. The crowd panning out, everybody, the entire fucking football stadium yeeting with Jey Uso. That's your closing shot. That's a fine closing shot. Everybody goes away feeling happy and good about that. The WWE got it right. That was absolutely the main event. We talked about what a main event should be. This is what the main event absolutely should have been. They got it right. I'm saying they would have been fine with Jey Uso and Gunther.
So I do want to pull up what Charlie has to say right now, the second to last comment, which is, I had it at a C show.
I think this is before the main. It
is. Here's my problem. This is a C show if it's Backlash. It's a C show if it's Clash at the Castle. It's an A if it's Raw. It's Wrestle effing Mania. You gotta give us something.
So
what night 1 felt like, with the exception of the main event and a little bit of Jacob Fatu and LA Knight and a little bit of Charlotte and Tiffy, is WWE finally getting sick of, well, night 1s are always better than night 2s.
I think
they put that to bed.
I think they got sick of that after WrestleMania 38. If you really look at it now, 39 and 40, a little bit more balanced. This one was the first time where it looked intentional.
Right. Because if they would have shifted some matches around and took some of the more intense matches and put them on night 1, and you take some of the less intense matches and you put them on night 2, it's a more balanced card. But instead, it is lackadaisical for the first couple of matches, some intensity, a little more lax intensity, and then they broke the knob off on intensity for the main event. They broke it.
Yeah. So like talking about that before we talk any more about the main event, and then of course night 2 was a letdown Mania inevitable.
Yes, they were on a heater.
37, 38, 39, 40, all great. 40 an all-timer. It doesn't
38's also up there as an all-timer too.
Yeah. And so before Devin leaves another voicemail accusing me of just ball washing the WWE, it doesn't forgive a bad Mania. It doesn't make it okay, quote unquote, to have a bad Mania. But like inevitably, not every WrestleMania is going to be great, right? We've seen bad Manias before. In my opinion, this year's isn't even the worst one in the last decade. 32 still holds that title to me. But this was going to happen. The one of these years, this was going to happen. It happened this year. It also happened in a year again, and I think Tim, you alluded to it in terms of the results, setting up for what comes next. This was a Mania that was more about what happens after as opposed to at. Yes, Tim.
Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Let's go.
On NXT, WWE officially announced that Survivor Series this year will be held at San Diego's Petco Park.
They announced that last night.
They did? They did?
Oh, yeah.
Then fuck me.
Yeah, yeah.
They're having
And I watched Raw.
And now an outdoor San Diego Survivor
Baseball
Series.
Stadium Survivor Series. I'm here with that.
If you're going to do an outdoor show in November, San Diego is probably one of the places.
That's a safe place.
That's safe. It rains once a year. Always beautiful. Easiest job in the world, weatherman in San Diego.
Son,
how's it going to be today, Bill? Nice.
Back on rain.
But yeah, main event. I mean, I loved it. I thought it from entrance to finish. It was fantastic. It unfortunately, I think, set up for me, and I'll say it myself. I did the thing, and we'll talk about night 2, but I did the thing that I've been very critical over the years of wrestling fans doing and starting to fantasy book and create things in my mind. And I will say I never accused the WWE of lying to me like some fans will do on social media, but I started going, well, he's with Heyman now, and maybe Rollins and Heyman are going to help Cena win tomorrow, and it's all part of this Rock thing. And it created possible scenarios that obviously did not come true. Now, as of last night on Raw, we see where they're going a little bit with this, and I like it. But Paul Heyman, if anybody from WWE hears this, give me an alternate broadcast option of anytime Paul Heyman's outside the ring of having a picture-in-picture Paul Heyman cam.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and watch that match and you look to Heyman reacting to different things, like there was one point where I think Reigns had covered Punk and Rollins was out of the ring, and Heyman was like looking at Rollins like you got to get up, and when it wasn't a 3 count, Heyman looked relieved, and if you probably didn't catch it in the moment because he was way in the background, the way where the camera was, but in hindsight you're going, aha, he was relieved because his actual guy that he's leaving with was not involved in the fall. So Paul Heyman, fantastic work. Everybody, fantastic work in this match. And the closing minutes felt like a WrestleMania moment finish. 2 shots to the dick with a little extra on that Roman one. Not really sure what
really laid the mustard.
Not really sure what the wax on, wax off was with Heyman there. Maybe he just wanted to tussle Roman Reigns' nuts a little. I mean, we don't.
I feel like using the term "wax off" probably wasn't the greatest term in that moment.
Probably. Well,
wax on.
I mean, I get it. I'm just.
Well, I didn't say whack off.
You said wax on, wax off.
Yeah, wax off, wax.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Wax off.
I get it. And of course, Seth Rollins walking out the victor. I really did. I was thoroughly sports entertained with the final 32-minute and 55-second match of WrestleMania Night 1.
This is what a WrestleMania main event should feel like. Special entrances, long, big fucking pyro. You have
flamethrowers.
Right. This is WrestleMania. Everything up until this moment didn't have that.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying every match has to have a special person playing somebody to the ring or whatever. It doesn't. But occasionally sprinkled in throughout the remainder of the show, sprinkle some WrestleMania dust on this.
They tried.
Boy, did they?
There was dust. They were trying.
I mean, Tiffy got the Barbie entrance.
Yep.
Charlotte got the Maserati entrance, or the Rolls Royce entrance.
I guess.
LA Knight had the Maserati entrance.
Maserati,
Yeah.
right.
Jay did the through the crowd thing and didn't yeet once. I'm trying to think what other matches had something special.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't think the fact that it didn't get dusk until halfway through Tiffany and Charlotte helped, at least for me.
31 didn't get till dusk, and it's pretty well regarded as a pretty solid Mania.
Yeah.
Well, but the matches were better than the undercard
For
of night.
sure.
So, like, you know what I mean?
Right,
At
right.
least-
That's another reason. There's plenty of
when they didn't bring out a tank, they didn't bring out a tank.
They sure didn't.
But,
I feel like this is going to be a bit of and I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse because I know we still have to talk about night 2, but I feel like this is going to be a pivotal moment in like the TKO WWE, because there were things that were very, very obvious that this is no longer Vince McMahon's WWE. Like and I understand last year probably had it too, and it might be different because I was there live, but like every single match having an individual sponsor that got put over religiously was exhausting. To see, it was just so many ads the entire night. This is not a UFC event. To see the ads on the canvas, man, the Prime logo, the Ghost Prime logo that we had last year was one thing. The turnbuckles are different. It looked like the fucking octagon, the way the ads are just painted on this mat. It was so oversold to that point that was a turnoff for me as well. So now I'm going to look for other things that I didn't like, because immediately my senses are like, oh, I don't like this. I don't like this. This is too much. I feel like I'm being sold shit that I don't want to buy right now.
I will say, in regards to the ads, one thing that I did appreciate this year versus last year is the barricades and the like ribbon LEDs in the stadium was just the sponsor logo on a black background.
Mhm.
Like, we didn't get eye fucked by American Home Shield for the main event.
Blue and white.
Like, my God, that white last year for the last match of night 1, like, it hurt. Like, I will say that, but to the sponsor thing, I bought a Snickers on the way home.
You sucker.
From where I watched WrestleMania night 1 with Tim and Marcus. I stopped at a Sheetz and I bought a Snickers because I was just gaslit for 4 hours telling me I needed to have a Snickers. And the whole time I was sitting there, I wanted one. And
they got to you, Jimmy.
They got me.
Like, go ahead.
You're good. Good.
It's just, you tie in that with like the knowing that the prices were so overinflated this year. I just feel like they're pricing out fans for the sake of selling a few ads, selling a couple of extra. You have the fucking green shirt guy coming down with fucking the commentary team because he bought an expensive ticket.
Like, the new platinum band is like 10 or 12.
Just things like that.
The on demand. It was the on demand.
Because I don't believe that guy actually even pays for anything.
Really rubbed me wrong seeing the celebrity shots. Like, it used to be like, wow, here's like 3 or 4 celebrities and that was it. But it's like every single match, here's another C-level celebrity. Here's a couple of UFC fighters. Here's
I don't know. Hearing Dana
Hinchcliffe.
Hearing Dana White get booed twice in one night was pretty
it's
fun.
not the fucking UFC.
Right.
It's a totally different fan base.
Yeah.
And TKO, I don't think quite gets that, or they don't give a shit. It's one of the two things.
So I don't think it's TKO. I think that it's very similar. So WWE, and we will see this moving forward, and you can tell that you're going to see it based on what I heard on the Pat McAfee show on Monday. WWE is in the midst of change again. And they are changing presentation. They are changing the rules of things. I mean, you get WWE Unreal, And I think that a lot of this is based on WWE wanting the narrative of WWE wrestling to change from being a low rent form of entertainment that wrestling has been since forever into being considered a part of live action sports, long-term scripted content to win awards. They want Emmys. They want to be recognized with or in the same breadth of other shows. It's part of the reason why they moved to Netflix. It's part of the reason why they're doing Unreal. Like every little thing matches up. And when you look at live sports, UFC included, but NBA games, especially during the playoffs, when there's a cut in downtime, especially if they're in New York City, they're showing Spike Lee in the front row of the Knicks game, decked out in the jersey because he's always there. In when they go to Los Angeles for the Lakers games, where's Jack Nicholson sitting? Booyah, got him. Who's here? And where's all the regulars? And we find them and we point them out and we pick them out. Has nothing to do with the wrestling, has nothing to do with basketball, but we live in such a parasocial world where we want to know where our favorite celebrities are, that if we happen to see our favorite celebrity in the crowd, we're like, oh, he's a fan too. And then we get more people listening to Jelly Roll, or we get more people watching Law and Order Organized Crime with the dude from Breaking Bad. Right. Or we get Flava Flav, who's done nothing since
Surreal Life.
Flavor of Love.
That's the one.
So it is definitely a change in wanting to be presented not as wrestling has been in the past.
How do you guys feel about Unreal, by the way?
I'm very uncomfortable with it.
I've seen a lot of mixed reactions. The little bit of time, like more so last night, like I've seen people saying like you don't need to kick the doors open to this level.
But if you want to start being considered for awards,
you have to.
Because now once you start showcasing the writing room, then you acknowledge the WWE has writers, which means you acknowledge that the WWE has a script, which means you acknowledge their storylines, which is the same thing as every other scripted television show across the board, and it then gets accounted for as such. And that's what the beauty of wrestling has always been. It is the mix of your favorite sport, basketball, baseball, football, hockey, and it can be presented as live action sports, but also give you the drama, the suspense, the joy, the anguish, the heartbreak of your favorite primetime television show, whether it's The Big Bang Theory or The Pit or Matlock or whatever it is you're watching. You can get all of that. I appreciate
you including Mark's favorite show in that, by the way. Matt.
Well, I'm talking about the Kathy Bates Matlock, not his.
Yeah, he's fucking new Matlock.
But you count, it's all of that combined, and it's the only place that you can get it all. And too many people put a focus on fake, where WWE is trying to rechange it and admit scripting. And it's also another thing too, because now it's going to be another shift too, where you acknowledge that the wrestlers are playing a role.
That's true.
The wrestlers have the line of competitor has always been blurred. It's always been blurry. You know who a basketball player is because they play basketball, but none of them go out and perform as a different name or a different anything. The movies they do, and in TV they do. But it allows for a guy like The Rock to go out and make herpes jokes and mother F the entire crowd, and then go out and do Moana and sell stuff to kids because, oh, when I'm on WWE, I'm the final boss.
You shut your mouth, fatty.
And when I'm not, I'm DJ. Case in point, you want an example of that? Watch the interview with Pat McAfee. Do you know how many times that The Rock had to say, this is me talking as Dwayne, not as the final boss?
Now go home and smoke some more crack.
And that is something they will peel away from with Unreal. Yeah. Paul Heyman on the Pat McAfee show said it pretty straightforward.
By the way, go check that out if you haven't. Wait till we're done being live, but go check that out.
Or don't. Like, just bypass all the time Paul Heyman talks smack to the crowd because it's very problematic.
It sure was.
Yeah, you can bypass that.
But everything he says during the interview, the actual interview, is worth holding on to. They talk about Unreal, and they ask straight up, like, Paul, how do you feel about this? You're more old school than anybody else. And he goes, I can look at it two ways. Either I can put my feet in the ground and put my head in the sand and not acknowledge it and let the train move on by. Or I can get with the times they are changing, and in order to be relevant, you must stay relevant and you must change your viewpoint. You can jump on the train and you can move. And you can't, like, he's like, I haven't been asked for my opinion. And even if I was asked for my opinion, unless it was in a position where I could make significant changes, it doesn't matter what my opinion is because the people making the decision have already made the decision. So either you can be featured on this new cutting edge version of WWE, presenting it as a reality show like Hard Knocks, like this is WWE Hard Knocks. Like you have that, or you become a blurred face during the documentary and you miss out on any opportunity. So wrestling in the 80s spits in the face of wrestling in the 90s, and wrestling in the 90s spit in the face of the 80s, and the 2000s spit into the 90s, right. And the 2010s spit into the face of the entire wrestling industry until we got to WrestleMania 30. And then, you know, even then, wrestling today spits in the face of that.
Sure does. Right.
It is evolution. It is moving. And to one of my favorite quotes of all time, to improve is to change, to perfect is to change often. And WWE is looking to change often and continue on. And that's why, like, one person's acquisition is another person's ruining wrestling entirely. My stance on AAA is completely different. I think that partnerships are great. Acquisitions aren't great. Look at what they did to the United Kingdom wrestling scene. It's dead.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Dead. And now they're going to do it with Lucha Libre. And now there's talks that they're going to buy a Japanese promotion too. We're going to McWrestle everything. Everything's going to be Triple Paul's wacky world of wrestling. Like, who knows? But that is where my biggest problem with now I say all of that to get back to the point of what Ryan was saying, where I have no problem with the advertising because that's the future. And that's where you can make money on top of money on top of money. It's late stage capitalism. We can't change it. What we can change is that night one of WrestleMania had 106 minutes of wrestling between the hours of 7 p.m. and 11 p.m. That is 1 hour and 46 minutes of runtime. We do not need 18 minutes of dead space between WrestleMania matches. Period.
I accept that.
I thought
Don't
they
need
did
it.
better with that night 2. It felt they cut some of that stuff out night 2.
I think that it's the same. I think we just had more exciting matches in between that we weren't so worried about the downtime.
That's fair too.
Maybe.
Here's the deal. If anybody's actually questioning what Tim said, just watch to the end of a Raw or a SmackDown and see the small credit roll of executive producer Paul Levesque.
They did it on
know that this is changing, that this is becoming a more legitimate television style show where you get a bit of credit roll of people actually admitting that this is a produced show.
They did the credit roll at the end of night 2 of WrestleMania.
They did too, yeah.
Going back to WWE Unreal, Charlie says, couldn't care less. No difference between someone going on a podcast, telling them how the sausage is made, and controlling their narrative.
That's a great point.
I agree. And here's my whole thing and I've said this about people griping about the Monday Night Raw over the years, or SmackDown over the years, AEW over the years, or WWE Unreal. If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. Nobody's going to force you to open your Netflix and turn on WWE Unreal.
I will absolutely watch it. I am mark enough to admit that I want to see this.
Yeah.
To the point, though, what's it matter anymore? Charlie's right. The horse is out of the barn. Who
Right.
gives a shit if the barn door's closed now? The horse is out. Leave the fucking door open. Invite everybody into the barn. What's it fucking matter?
Maybe the horse will come back.
Giddy up.
All right.
A fucking kayfabe? That's what we're worried about today?
Right.
And this, I don't want to give any credit to this person whatsoever, but I'm going to use
credit.
I'm going to use a phrase, and if you Google the phrase, you'll know who it points to, and you'll know why I don't like it. But there was a person who is full of dog shit ideas who had a really great, had thoughts of a good premise, and that is kayfabe 2.0. Kayfabe does not exist anymore in the way that kayfabe exists. But a new form of kayfabe needs to come around where wrestlers are viewed as people, but then like you find the way to work shoot stuff more often because wrestlers are people, but then you don't know when they're the wrestler and when they're the person. And you can skew the lines that way as opposed to them every time you see them, they are the wrestler. And
I'm fine with that. I feel like that's what people do anyway.
Right.
They do now. But it's the wrestlers that are having to change that because they were so protective of the bit. Like, case in point, watch the documentary of WrestleMania 9.
That's yeah.
And how many wrestlers were standoffish?
Get that camera out of my face.
Get it out of my face. Now, with WWE 24 and the 365 series and everything else, it's old hat.
Right.
And we can see people laughing and joking. And now Steph McMahon's got a podcast where she might or may not be talking to wrestlers. And Cody Rhodes has got a podcast now where he's going to be doing stuff.
Remember when we used to talk to wrestlers on this podcast?
I don't know. Overrated.
Or Jim put the no guest policy in.
No, that's not true. That we
Mark,
can have any guest you
when did he
want.
put that policy in place, Mark? Do you remember?
He was upset. I think it was when Redacted was on.
It was one of the redacted ones. I think that's right.
We had a few of those. That doesn't narrow it down. All right. I don't want to go match by match through night 2, since we are an hour 20 in. But
when were you expecting for us to be done?
I have no idea.
Okay, I was just curious. I didn't know what you had the runtime for.
I mean, well, let's do it then. Let's.
I didn't get a run sheet, so I wouldn't know.
There was no run sheet.
There actually was, but okay.
There was. He absolutely sent it back.
I didn't see it.
Well, if you don't
That's
open
3CT unreal.
if you don't open
Jim
your
sends it every week, and I pretend not to get it.
And I back Ryan up,
Kayfabe.
even though Ryan then like gives me bullshit. I have his back on this one thing.
I am the only one that ever reacts to Jim sending the goddamn run sheet.
That's true.
All right, let's start off night 2. Io Sky defeating Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair to retain the women's world title. We talked about a match ending night 1 being on a match of the year list. Spoiler alert, this match also on my match of the year list.
Yes.
Spoiler alert, this match was better than the main event of night 1.
Yeah. It was solid. Match of the weekend.
Boy, you're right. This was the match of the weekend.
Match of the weekend.
This is on my on my match of the year list above the main event from night 1. Yes, Tim, you're right.
They smashed it.
Yeah.
They did. They had the opportunity, Tim, and they shined. They showed.
Yeah, absolutely killed it. I had high expectations for it, and it exceeded them. It really did. A plus from all three. Sin City Street Fight. Drew McIntyre defeats Damian Priest.
Better than it should have been.
Agreed.
Wasn't a street fight. Was just hardcore rules.
Yeah,
street fight.
It can't be a street fight if it doesn't make it to the street.
I hate to be that way.
Street fight, no holds barred, hardcore, tribal combat. All of it is the same thing for the same thing.
Any of those things.
Right.
Sin City Street Fight's alliterative. It sounds great. People know what you're talking about.
You do.
Drew McIntyre, really good at this wrestling thing.
That's actually why Matt's not here. He's very conflicted because he wants to hate Drew McIntyre, but I feel like he had the revelation this weekend of how good Drew is, and he's struggling. So we're with you, Matt. We're here for you.
I don't know. I don't think Matt ever took away that Drew's a good wrestler. He just hates his fucking gimmick, right?
Well, that's true. That is true.
But what of the gimmick does he hate?
That
he hates Scottish people, actually.
Yeah, overall.
He hates the kilt.
The kilt.
He hates the accent.
He just hates Scottish.
He hates the hair dye.
I mean, it is a little heavy-handed.
Who am I to talk crap about the face of Project Rock?
Well, that's true. That's true. The final boss. Bloodline rules. Intercontinental title. Dominic Mysterio defeats Finn Balor, Braun Breaker, and Penta to become your new Intercontinental champion. So much goddamn fun.
My only nit to pick with this match,
okay,
is that they literally ran the finish that the women's title match ran. It was a pinfall interrupted by a finisher off the top rope, and somebody got pinned by it. It was still awesome.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker's a stud. Penta's a stud. Finn Balor is underrated as all can get out. And Dom Mysterio becomes another person in the long line of Fandango and those people who catch fire during WrestleMania weekend. And I hope to God that the rocket is strapped on this kid and we just send Dominic Mysterio to the moon.
Dude, they got to. Like, they really do.
Him the Katy Perry treatment and shoot him into outer space.
Yes.
A little bit longer than Katy Perry, though.
A little bit longer. Man, to go back to like the pandemic WrestleMania and see this goofy ass kid with stupid hair wrestling with his dad, and to see where we are now, it is insane that is the same person.
Never saw it coming.
It is wild. Like, I think all or most of us on this show were like, why is this kid still here besides the fact that he's Ray's kid? Like
did they just sit him down one time in the writer's room? We might see this on Unreal. And somebody just comes up, maybe it's Jason Jordan, and he just kind of tussles his hair, and he's like, "Kid, can you just be an asshole? That's all we need." And that's all it took.
Right.
Can you
Literally.
grow a mustache? And can you just be an asshole?
Just be an asshole.
So good.
And you get to win at life and on screen life. Like just awesome. Awesome.
Yes.
But yeah, fantastic.
We're gonna partner you with Raquel, and he's like, Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Right. It's so good.
Right, like he did a year. Like you can't forget the fact that he did 2 years with Rhea Ripley before he was with Liv Morgan. Just awesome.
Living the dream, Big Jimmy.
Just living the dream. The Randy Orton Open Challenge, answered by one and only Joe Hendry. It is such a fun, great WrestleMania moment in a capsule. Like it really is. Case in point, my brother, who he doesn't watch a whole lot of wrestling. He was a huge fan when he was younger. Has not watched a ton in recent years. There's the Blockbuster movie bar near him. We did the bracket last month. They usually have AEW on Wednesday nights in the bar. So he's actually probably caught more AEW than he has WWE as of late. But he was watching. He caught some of WrestleMania, and he was like watching it after the fact. So I get random texts throughout the day, and he was just. Let me see if I can find the one about Joe Hendry, because he's like, this Joe Hendry guy is hilarious. I'm like, yeah, it's just pure entertainment. And it was a fantastic moment. Randy having fun with it as well. Super fun stuff.
And to anyone who, and I had to put Marcus to task on this on Final Wrestling Place.
Congrats on 300 episodes, by the way.
By the way, man, God bless.
I never counted ours. We've done more than that.
You sure have.
But yeah, congratulations, man. It's an achievement.
Yeah, we did a whole bunch of fun stuff. If you want to find, not my place to plug. This is 3CT. It's all about that.
I'll plug. Go Final Wrestling Place on YouTube on your podcast.
Linktree / Final Wrestling Place has everything, including the new fun things. So if you're interested, have fun.
Yeah.
That's right. Very affordable, very cheap. Good stuff. Anywho, if you were expecting someone else to fill in this spot against Randy Orton, and you start to think about it, like the first person everybody thought of was Rusev. Okay. You're going to bring Rusev in to have him eat an RKO in 5 minutes?
People only thought that because they know he left AEW.
And that he was rumored to be at the Performance Center last week.
I mean, it could have been Hillbilly for all we know. Like, it could have been anybody.
Right. It could have been anybody.
Look at Mark.
But it makes the most sense to be Joe Hendry. You squeeze a little bit more out of that Joe Hendry grape. You get some more juice. You see if it has legs. He gets to brush shoulders with one of the greatest of all time. It only shines a bigger spotlight on TNA.
Who you have a partnership with.
It does?
It does.
TNA World Champion.
He's TNA World Champion jobbing out in 5 minutes to Randy Orton at WrestleMania. That shines a positive light. We are now treading into AEW TNA territory.
It literally
what TNA has done for AEW is what TNA has done for the WWE, and it has not been very reciprocal.
Ryan, it was a 50-50 match until Joe Hendry got caught with an RKO out of nowhere.
Right.
How is that a squash?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
It was a 50-50 match.
It wasn't. Hendry got a bit of offense in the beginning. It was not 50-50.
He got the exact same amount of offense that Randy Orton did. Except Randy Orton got an RKO.
That's all it was.
Out of nowhere.
Really? And that's what Orton does all the time, right? Like that's Randy Orton's whole gimmick. We'll see that Monday, right? When the WWE uses that to build a new star. Right?
Joe Hendry's not on the WWE roster.
He's not. That's correct.
Right.
Did you really
It's
think
not
we were going to
Orton.
go to John Cena's final year without seeing a Randy Orton John Cena match?
No, I didn't think that. No.
Okay.
Do you think I would have thought that? Of course, we're going to see a John Cena Randy Orton match.
But to me, it was a perfect match. It is along the lines of Honky Tonk Man and the Ultimate Warrior. It's 5 stars. It is perfect. I would say of all the matches in WrestleMania, that is the most complete in-box, perfect representation of what I want in a WrestleMania match. Put it on display. Put it in the Louvre.
Fuck, am I supposed to respond to that? Mark, say something. I don't fucking know.
Today, are we still talking about Joe Hendry and Randy Orton?
Yes.
We are.
Holy cats. Wasn't that fun? It was so nice to see Joe Hendry. It was fun. It really was, Timmy. You were correct. It was a perfect match. For Joe Hendry, say a year ago, 2 years ago, you would never think of him wrestling Randy Orton at a WrestleMania. Nothing against Joe Hendry at all. But look how far that man's come. And he's only getting started.
He's come so far that Mark said his actual name.
Joe Hendry.
That's a great point.
Isn't that Joe Hendry or is it Joe Henry?
Oh, there we are.
Joe Hendry.
Too late
And
to
we're
start your
back.
bullshit, Mark.
And we're back.
Hello, I got distracted. There was a lot.
I don't know. To me, there's the difference. I'll give Mark that was a fun WrestleMania moment. You can
That's so cool.
completely
Spun
miss
around.
me on the perfect bullshit. It was a fun WrestleMania moment. I'll
It was
say
a lot
that.
of fun.
It would have been fun if it was Mariachi Black or Miro. It also would have been fun. A fun little WrestleMania moment. They came back. That's neat.
Yeah, but then Orton would have to beat him.
Exactly what he did to Joe Hendry.
Yeah,
Except,
but Hendry,
except
Joe Hendry is another company's #1 fucking champion.
and he got
63,226 people were on their feet.
How many people were at the fucking Royal Rumble, Jim, when Joe Hendry came out?
a lot.
There, he wasn't the only loser of the match. 29 other people lost.
But he lost to like an 18-time world champion.
So here's why it's perfect. Ready?
Yes.
Randy Orton versus Joe Hendry, the highlights of the match on YouTube. 941,000 views. Joe Hendry's entrance.
That's TNA's YouTube? Is that
No,
newer?
that's WWE's YouTube.
Okay. I wasn't sure what it was
But
doing
it
for TNA.
translates.
I forgot.
If nobody
That's my
knows
apologies.
where the
Thank you for
TNA
clarifying,
YouTube,
Tim.
but if nobody knows what the TNA YouTube is, if nobody knows what TNA is, and they see the TNA World Champion go 50-50 with Randy Orton and get caught with an RKO out of nowhere, and then Randy Orton, the guy, steals the dude he just squashed his bits and actually put him over in the ring, give him the tap on the chest, and he RKOs him again. How many times have you been like, oh, you know what, man? That's not a rub. Stone Cold Steve Austin stuns a dude twice. People are like, oh, Stone Cold gave him the rub.
Yeah, I get it.
I'm sorry that winning, that participating in a fun and exciting match and like having as more eyeballs on you on the WWE than you've ever had at TNA is
Yeah, it's going to be great when they end up just sniping Joe Hendry from TNA. That's going to be fine. I'm not saying
that's what the whole point is too.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
They have a relationship.
Goes back to ask the question of what does TNA get out of this?
Exposure.
Nothing. Who the fuck's tuning into TNA after this?
I
Mark,
tuned in
when does
last
TNA
night.
even fucking? When can you watch? What day of the week can you watch TNA?
Thursday.
You can watch
You're not
anytime
fucking
on
Mark.
YouTube. Or if you have the TNA app, the Superbox has it on all the time.
Yeah, but that's like old
That's like
replay.
Helix Skipper TNA.
Yeah, I can watch that on my Roku TV as well.
That used to be a Ring of Honor channel, and Sinclair fucked that up.
Hey, thanks, Tony. All right.
Tony fumbled.
Logan Paul, AJ Styles. Logan Paul gets the win. Besides, what is it about AJ Styles and WrestleMania?
Poor guy.
I mean, the Boneyard match obviously is kind of in its own world because it's a cinematic masterpiece. But like AJ Styles' best WrestleMania match was against Shane McMahon, right? Like one of the best wrestlers, and it just like WrestleMania is like his kryptonite. It's wild.
I didn't
Him
think
and
it
Jericho was fun.
Bad of a match.
Jericho is fun. It just it something seemed off. It was not. What was the word you used to describe Stratton and Charlotte, Ryan?
Clunkers.
Clunky. This was a clunky.
What did you say? Clunkers?
Did you say clunkers?
Clunky. Clunky.
Come
He
on,
was describing.
stop it.
Finish that thought.
He described me young.
So I have a new perspective on something.
Okay.
Logan Paul was a fantastic wrestler when he was not a full-time competitor. Now he is okay. But everybody views him as the guy who's going out there and doing having bangers. But the problem is that now every time he's out there, you expect a banger. He ain't a banger guy no more because he's got to do all his shit all the time.
That's too much banging.
He had a really cool entrance. The entrance with the drone was sick. There was a cool way to use the drone. That was the coolest part of the entire match.
Yeah.
And we got to see Karrion Kross strut that ass out there.
I wasn't looking at Carrion's.
I don't know. It was definitely Scarlett, right?
So okay.
Hanson.
Charlie says this match in the main event, and we're going to talk about the main event.
The main event.
Perfect example of managing expectations. But if I have one of the best to ever do it,
it is WrestleMania, dude. You should have high expectations.
Right. And if it's
I will
AJ
manage my
Styles,
expectations for Backlash.
like AJ Styles is one of the best of this generation, right? Oh my God, look what he's still doing at age 46.
Yeah.
Right? Look how great he is still at 46. He's the phenomenal AJ Styles, not the manage expectations AJ Styles. And then you have a Logan Paul, who again,
Logan Paul's pretty good at what he does. He really is.
He is a douchebag. Like we're douchebag, but the guy is great, right? That's what we've. How is he so good when he's only wrestled 2 matches? How is he so good at wrestling Roman Reigns on a pay-per-view main event when he's only wrestled one other time? Right? That's what we've said. Why would I not have big expectations for this match?
Tim, you made a really good point of him now, like being a wrestler. I think people still liken him to like the Bad Bunny. Oh, Bad Bunny, really good, not a wrestler. The guy's a fucking megastar, pop singer, and came in and did this wrestling thing and made it look really good. Right now that you're a signed wrestler, you are just an above average player right now.
But you're a high profile celebrity.
Correct. Right. So the WWE is a fool to not use you. And he's not bad. Again, this is not Logan Paul is bad at what he does. He picked it up very quickly. But
he's also
just kind of missed.
The worst guy he's ever wrestled on TV was Ricochet.
Right. And they were just doing crazy flippy shit, matching each other then.
Right. Like, I don't think Logan Paul has been in a match with anybody that couldn't carry him.
Who would you like to see Ricochet have a match with to change that narrative, Tim? Like, who would it be on the WWE roster?
What, for Logan Paul, you mean?
Yeah. That, oh wow, Logan Paul, and I don't know, I'm gonna say a name, and Carlito. Logan Paul and Carlito had a really good match. It really showed
Carlito's a good hand.
Okay, all right.
Great
He has
hand.
a really good hand.
You want to know? You want to know what match? If they go out there and have a banger, you want to know who what I think I would put more stock in? Logan Paul,
Dom,
Logan, and Dom.
Yeah.
For the Intercontinental title, and let's see Logan do it with a dude who hasn't been wrestling for very long, is practically the same character as you. And yes, Dom has the cachet and the mental acuity, and he's got it in his blood. But you don't have Dom going out there and leading matches against people.
That's a fair point. All right. Look at W. Make it happen.
Charlie says, go back a few years, Nakamura AJ match. On all of us expected a 7-star classic. It wasn't bad. Yes, it was. But it couldn't live up
It wasn't bad.
to that. It wasn't good.
It was.
Where was that match? When did that happen?
WrestleMania.
That was a Mania match, right?
Yeah, that was Nakamura's Royal Rumble win.
You want to know why? Besides it being not good, you want to know why I hate LT and Bam Bam to the level that I hate it? Because it was a WrestleMania main event. Because it was a WrestleMania main event.
Yeah, spectacle.
Yep.
Like horrible. Horrible.
It wasn't horrible.
It was horrible.
That was pretty bad.
It was a horrible match to bookend a horrible WrestleMania.
WWE was changing then, Jim.
But
it was better than Shawn Michaels and Diesel.
I didn't say that was good.
It was better than Bret Hart and Mr. Bob Backlund.
Okay.
What Mania was that on?
Same one.
11.
Okay, well, you can't compare non-main events to main events. Like, if you go back and look at every main event of WrestleMania...
I'm comparing matches on the card to matches on the card.
The WrestleMania main event of 11 is in the bottom five of all time?
Yes.
I'd have to do my gazintas, but I don't...
We'd have to go through it, but no one's putting it in the top half.
No. Not even close.
I don't think people
I
are
put the
putting
main
it in
event of I put the main event of 11 over the main event of 9.
Yeah, I would too.
I said bottom 5.
Well, I mean the
It's
main
better
event
than
of 5 was
WrestleMania
8
1.
seconds long.
That one was special. It was different.
So was LT Bam Bam.
Well, then I did, but
Jeez.
Fuck, Mark.
But Charlie,
Do you remember watching WrestleMania 1, Mark?
no, that was closed circuit. There may have been pay-per-view, but most of that was you actually had to go somewhere.
Okay. So
And
you did
watch it
not
like
watch that live.
I did not watch that live. The first one I watched live was 3.
Okay, and you got into Flintstone cars and pedaled your feet to get to the place you were going. Is that what happened?
Yeah, we took the Flintstone car, and it was about a good day's drive. We went to Big Jim Painter's house, not Big Jim.
not me. I didn't know you.
Big
Then.
Jim Painter.
Big Jim Painter, yeah.
I was just
Out of effort.
I was just a little Jim at that point.
You're little Jimmy.
Back then, they only painted in black and white. There was just no color at all.
Correct. It was black and white.
All right, Lyra and Becky defeated Liv and Raquel to win the women's tag titles.
It got us to where we had to get to, I guess, on Monday. So
Yeah.
What the fuck ever? I didn't.
Yeah. There was a lot of feathers in the ring.
Jim hated that. Boy, was
Jim
he
hated
upset.
birds.
Oh, dude, so I go over to Big Jim's house to watch WrestleMania,
I did
right?
not hate birds, by the way.
And Big Jim is trying to overcome his hatred of birds. So on the big screen, we have the WrestleMania, and then he has a smaller screen where sometimes he put a hockey game on. He had some sort of like bird feeder camera that he was watching to overcome his hatred of birds. It shows
I don't
like
hate birds.
I was like, Jim, what type of bird is that? He's like, that's a female cardinal. Jim, what type of bird is that? And he's like, well, that's just your average blackbird. Jim, what type of bird is that? He's like, that's a dove. So he's learning different birds to overcome his hatred of birds.
I don't
He's becoming more inclusive. Jim, just admit it, dude. You are taking the steps to get better.
We appreciate you.
Yes, I mean I don't hate birds, but I am
birds. Now, what about Mrs. Big Jim's chili? She's still upset.
She was pretty hot. So was that chili, by the way.
It was,
a lot of
delicious chili. We had leftovers. We were going to send some home with you, but I had to throw it away.
So many scallions.
Yeah, she Do not bring up scallions in front of her for a while.
She'll be upset.
It's been touch and go all week.
Anyway, Jim was like, "What the fuck's in her hair? She looks like a bird. I hate her. I hope she."
That's not what I said.
Stabbed tomorrow night by Becky Lynch, and lo and behold, Jim came true.
That's not. None of that is accurate.
Bird hater.
The feathers falling out all over the rig did annoy me though.
A lot of feathers. Once again, bird hatred.
Tim,
you're
muted. My guy.
I muted myself. I'm an idiot.
You
You know what annoyed me the most?
The birds.
The big bird arm.
The fact that she hugged Becky Lynch with the bird feather arms on.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you get the big wing. Get the big wing.
I don't give a fuck.
There's a lot of flapping going on.
Take them off. You ain't a bird.
What I didn't like about it is she was standing there with her arms, her bird arms, and then they were like, "Who is it going to be?" And she went like this, with her one giant bird arm to point at the entrance ramp when Becky Lynch's music hit.
That's so good.
Bird arm point.
It was all a choice. Speaking of choices,
the low moment of night 2 right here.
Speaking of choices that were made,
birds.
Now, the thing that sucks is I have waited years to be able to victory lap this moment. And don't get me wrong, I am celebrating the fact that I was right years ago. I made a prediction on this show. I think it was even pre-pandemic. I still wish I would have written the date down. This Ryan bows out. I said John Cena would win 17, and two people on this show, particularly Ryan, you and Matt, have been very adamant that we would never see John Cena as a world champion again. And we are here, John Cena, you're 17-time world champion. I was right. I am basking in the glow. My John Cena 17-time world champion shirt has already been ordered. I
look at what happened, you son of a bitch. I hope you're happy.
Jimmy would say you're eating crow, but he doesn't like birds. And Smokey doesn't like Cheryl, so there's that.
Defeats Cody Rhodes to win the undisputed WWE Championship in 21 minutes and 40 seconds, the second longest match of WrestleMania 41. 14 of that was Travis Scott's entrance. Little did I know that the 22-minute entrance was actually going to be Travis Scott. And a kick to the dick, a belt shot to the head, and we have a new champion before 11 p.m. on the East Coast.
Too early, Jimmy.
The only thing I can liken it to is that there was like a King of the Ring one time that my brother and I had gone to a friend of his house, and we bought the pay-per-view, and usually, pay-per-views ran up to 11 p.m. in those days, and this one was over at like 10:26, and like went to black. Pay-per-view over. You had the thanks for buying screen, and we're like, what the fuck was that? Actually, it was probably what the hell, because we were in like middle school. I think we probably said what the fuck.
WTF, mate.
But so it just, I think, Ryan, you even said it before the 3. Wow, we still got like 15 minutes here. And then
I literally said, as he hit Cody Rhodes with the belt, oh, like, this is the WrestleMania main event. Like, I'm thinking that. And I said, oh, Jim, we've still got a solid 15 minutes left of this match. The match alone. I'm not even talking Gaga potentially after the match. I'm talking we've got 15 minutes of the match. Oh, he's getting the ref in. 1, 2, 3. The fuck was that?
Yeah, WrestleMania dick shot. Was no, Charlie. I mean, December to Dismember might have ended early. This was a WWE show that
December was like 2 hours and like 18 minutes.
I'm fairly certain it was King of the Ring. It was a summertime pay-per-view in WWE. I didn't purchase any ECW shows back in the day.
You remember any matches from it?
I I could probably guess the year.
Tatanka took on one half of the Body Donnas.
King Mabel was wrestling.
Would have been maybe like 2001 ish.
Oh,
Jim, to start this podcast.
Or no, it would have been like 90. Would have been like 98 or 99. It would have been a pay-per-view. Maybe it wasn't King of the Ring, but it would have been a pay-per-view in like the summer of 98 or 99. Because my brother graduated high school in 2000. He was still in high school.
So you're thinking it was the summer of 99?
Maybe. And that year Mark turned 49.
Yes, I remember 99 well.
Charlie, it was not a WWE ECW. It wasn't an ECW. It wasn't in December. One of those maybe went short as well, but this was a summertime WWF pay-per-view.
Yeah, man, WWE I think has done a really good job of training us that, like, first of all, your main event star Cody Rhodes can probably kick out of a belt shot because it's the main event of WrestleMania. That pay-per-views typically get over sometime around 11 o'clock. And WrestleMania main events typically last longer than 21 minutes. The WrestleMania main event for WrestleMania 40 had multiple Usos, a Shield Seth Rollins, The Rock, The Undertaker,
John Cena,
and I think it was. And was John Cena part of the main event?
Yeah. Yep,
and then you had a 30-some minute match. This was 21 minutes and had Travis Scott. Jim, you can have like an off year and still try to deliver. Mm-hmm. This was a failure of a main event.
Yeah.
This didn't come close. This has nothing to do with like having a off year or a down year. This isn't even the same fucking scope of what we got last year.
Not even in the ballpark.
No, it wasn't.
This is totally different sports.
Right. Right. This is badminton.
Right.
The lack
right.
of The Rock in the main event altogether probably lowered the entire grade, an entire letter grade.
Like you just assume that's going to happen. And again, maybe wrong on me for assuming, and I had the wrong expectations to go to Charlie's point. But like Travis Scott comes down, slowly sauntering to the ring. Oh, he'll probably he took the bump. Boom, there it was. He took the crossroads. And then a minute and a half later, celebrating.
Over.
Like he didn't just fucking eat Cody Rhodes' finish as a non-wrestler.
He shouldn't be getting up. Probably getting up about now.
Yeah.
What is going on here?
Yeah,
You're upset.
Somebody needs to be blamed for this. Is it The Rock or is it Triple H because it's his show? Like, who is it? And then The Rock, I think, was on McAfee and was like, yeah, well, the TKO guy called me up and we weren't selling tickets very well to Elimination Chamber. So we came and we sold a shitload of tickets. And Mania sold itself, so they didn't need me. Well, that's kind of a fucking slap to the wrestling fan, isn't it?
Yeah. That ain't right.
Yeah.
Is that how you really sell the fucking profession?
Like whether or not the booking decisions of Sunday falls to The Rock, falls to Triple H, falls to the writing team, WWE, unreal. Do we need? And again, maybe this is kind of something you said earlier, Ryan, to that, like, you know, was this somewhat of a lesson of like the difference between like what WWE needs and what TKO needs, and you know the TKO influence, and this is more The Rock than TKO, but I mean, the expectation of The Rock came from the fact that this whole thing started at Elimination Chamber. John Cena wins, Cody's there, The Rock comes out, it's the big decision. Cody says to Rock, as I'm searching for it,
go fuck yourself.
John Cena hugs Cody Rhodes. Everybody's happy. We get the mean thing. We get the throat slicey. John Cena kicks Cody Rhodes in the dick. And we're off and running to this match. Like, why would I not have an expectation that somewhere along the way, the final boss, Bloodline Rules, Goosebumps and all, would show up.
Maybe John Cena's soul is not worth, like John Cena sold his soul to The Rock in that moment. And The Rock just doesn't give a shit to follow through on his commitment at the grandest stage of them all, but shows up at Elimination Chamber because they're not selling tickets very well.
Right? Like,
what?
That interview today, which by the way, also sidebar, if I'm the UFL and The Rock comes on the most popular talk show on the network that the UFL is airing and the UFL isn't mentioned once, that tells you all you need to know about the UFL.
No.
But like that interview did as much, if not more damage than the fucking main event did.
You can't be upset that the WWE is coming out with Unreal when The Rock goes on the Pat McAfee show and says, yeah, I showed up because we weren't selling tickets.
Yeah, there was never more to the story. There was nothing. How did we get from The Rock actually wrestling at WrestleMania and the greatest sports entertainment 10 minutes that we've ever been given to a year later? All The Rock has done is like a weird segment where he wants to like matriculate with Cody Rhodes' title belt, a weird thing at the end of Backlash where he puts up a number 3 to Solo, who says, no, there's more to the story, keep watching. And apparently there's not, because The Rock just told us that today. He comes out of the beginning of Netflix, hopped up on whatever the tequila, the brand that he peddles, and is me and Cody are friends now, and then I want to take your soul, and then throat slashy John Cena kicks a guy in the dick, and now it's just like, yeah, I'm good. We're the final boss isn't needed anymore.
You've literally just received the cliff notes
like
of the last year with the Cody Rhodes story.
How did this happen? And like, is it truly something where because he's on the board, they can't say no to him? Like, is Triple H, like, does he have the ability to, like, when Rock wants to come in and just monkey wrench everything, is Triple H able to say no? Like, this is not going to make any sense. Yes, Tim.
Did you listen to the whole McAfee Rock?
I didn't. I was working, and I try to avoid as much Pat McAfee as possible.
John Cena turning was a Triple H idea. The Rock wanted Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Triple H pitches Cena. And then they run with Cena as the heel.
But let's pretend that people are going to have a problem with WWE Unreal when you're just giving away the entire business on Pat McAfee's show.
Right, but the Unreal is you get everything.
You get to see it. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
Mark,
why was The Rock there? Like, to me now, the question is that why do you do The Rock, Cody, sell the soul stuff anyway? Because
according to the interview, Ari Emanuel asked The Rock to show up to Elimination Chamber because they needed a boost to ticket sales. And The Rock wanted to find a legit reason why to be there. They run the I want your soul gimmick. Rock legitimately wanted Cody. Triple H offers up Cena. They run the turn. And Rock and Triple H and everyone else was like, okay, we have now done the biggest heel turn in this generation. It should have enough legs to carry you to WrestleMania without The Rock. And I agree with it. I agree that it should.
I agree. I think the build was great.
Could have.
The problem was the build to WrestleMania was Cena cutting 3 promos overseas, physicality after 1, then literally 3 weeks of nothing but Cody cutting promos until the Rock until Cena shows up, and poo-poo on us for expecting the Rock to show up when literally the Rock was a footnote in every promo and every conversation and everything on commentary throughout the entire night.
Yeah.
And like the entire build to Mania.
They could have avoided
if the Rock was going to be there, he would have been there. And everybody's talking, oh, well, in the WWE, the World Store, they were selling finally the Rock has come back to Las Vegas shirts.
They were selling Undertaker urns too. Taker wasn't appearing.
That Las Vegas shirt from The Rock is from The Rock at the WrestleMania 40 press conference in Vegas.
Whoops.
Oh, that's left.
You can find that shirt still on the. I'm going to pull it up.
Like
you guys talk.
and again, maybe we should have just lowered expectations. Shame on us.
But it's WrestleMania.
I know that was sarcasm.
I get what you're saying, but like, no, the expectations for a WrestleMania caliber moment should exist for fucking WrestleMania, and I'm sorry, Travis Scott doesn't provide that.
Absolutely not.
Oh,
and they could have avoided some of the letdown by at some point during the build-up.
It's on clearance.
Well, it's certainly
it is now.
Celebrate the People's Champ announcing his return to the ring when finally The Rock is returned to Las Vegas t-shirt. The WrestleMania 40 kickoff press conference.
Well, you got to read the fine print. It's right there.
So people see this shirt and they go, "Oh, The Rock's going to be here."
Well, to be fair, Tim, wrestling fans aren't always the smartest.
There's no way to read.
They could read the words Vegas.
That's true. It's only 5 letters.
That's fair.
The match still sucked.
They were so angry they could have spit nails.
The match sucked.
We'll talk about the match, but they could have avoided some of that expectation letdown if at some point during the run up to this, John Cena could have said, I don't need The Rock to be there. I don't, we're not going to give you The Rock there. That's what you want. I'm not giving you what you want. You get nothing. That's been part of the make of this John Cena. It's the first promo that he gave after the heel turn when it was at the show in Amsterdam, I think. It was, you don't get new music. You don't get like new merch style. You don't get new anything. You deserve nothing. I'm giving you nothing. I'm doing this to take your title away. I'm going to ruin wrestling for you. Well, you ruined WrestleMania night too. So congratulations, John. But it's somewhere along the way, you have a team of writers. You're doing a TV show about it. Use a team of writers to tell us The Rock ain't going to be there.
The Rock told you on Twitter that he was in Hawaii. Well,
The Rock's also done that before.
Shame on you for assuming he was working you at that moment, right?
Well, again, if we've seen this before again, and again, shame on me to a degree to doing the thing that I have criticized people. But again, I also didn't blame the WWE for lying to me. I was let down because I expected more. And it didn't happen a lot.
Mark, what was your take? I'm just curious. I've been
upset.
A bit upset, a bit quiet with the exclusion of like The Rock in this WrestleMania. I don't even feel like it was a moment. Like Cena winning 17, and maybe it's because he is the heel, but it didn't even feel like a great moment. And maybe that's the story that they're trying to tell, that it's been ruined.
It was not a great moment. I'm upset.
Like it has a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, it was very lackluster. Everybody here at the beautiful Hottenstein Estates, we were all disappointed. Well, we were happy that or I should say happy. We expected Cena to win, which is good. I'm not angry that Cena won. I'm disappointed. Actually, everybody I've talked to who's a wrestling fan these last few days said the same thing. They were so disappointed in how it was presented.
Do you remember what it was Hillbilly like when Cody got hit with the belt? Cena brought the referee back magically. 1, 2, 3. Like, what did Hillbilly say?
Well, I don't think I can use those words on the podcast.
Like paraphrase for us.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
He said something like, "Anne Marie, get a load of this ball."
Was that what? Okay, Anne Marie was over too.
And he called
yelling across the
Anne Marie
street.
was over. Then he said, "Anne Marie, get me another beer. The Rock ain't coming out." He was very upset.
He was right.
Now, before we get into any of the comments, Tim, to the match itself, you hated the match.
I can see.
Yo, Tim's mic is hot.
You did get louder.
Turn yourself up.
No, I didn't.
Now he's angry.
Now he's upset.
He's
No,
on
I
his way to
didn't
the
do
bed.
anything. I haven't touched anything. I
Oh,
don't know why.
now you're back to normal. But like when
That
you,
was very loud, right? It wasn't.
it got louder and it was like echoey.
I thought it was.
I
the
was
voice of
muted
God for a minute.
first. I can see what they tried to do in retrospect. Doesn't change it. It was stinky doo-doo. It got to the point where we needed it. Like it the ending is correct. Cena up 17. That was the call. That was the right call. Belt shot for the 1, 2, 3. Right call. 6-minute walk down the ramp in the middle of it while Cody's just selling whatever the fuck. As Fiend plays for like 12 minutes.
If I don't hear that song again, I'll be okay.
Fiend.
Again, in retrospect, I can see what they were going for. However, it isn't for me. It won't be for me. It ain't for a lot of other people. I'm hoping that the remainder of Cena's run can be better in spite of what we saw at WrestleMania.
For me, I actually was enjoying the match up until Travis Scott's music hit. Like I thought it felt like kind of a more of a like just classic like wrestlers with some, John Cena playing his hits mixed in. I was enjoying it. The long entrance, literally no urgency to the entrance at all. And then it just clunky again, clunky.
It was very close.
And then I think again, it's that I was waiting for what was cool. We're getting Travis Scott. All right, what's next? And what's next was the end of the match.
I feel like I even said that like Travis Scott's music came out, and I think I said, "Oh, cool, here will come The Rock."
Right,
Like we go through Travis Scott, The Rock will be out. If not walking down with Travis Scott.
Yeah, I mean, I think at one time
after Travis Scott takes a bump, here will come The Rock. Like this will be cool.
And I thought,
and then here comes the Gaga of the WrestleMania main event.
Well, yeah, because I think at one point we were kind of hypothesizing that Stone Cold may have come out to help Cody. Because I think Austin even said in an interview, he was like, well, yeah, I'll be in there for the Hall of Fame. So if Cody needs some help, I'll be there. Well, he was too busy running over the barricade and blowing out his axle.
That was a dream.
By the way, best flop of the night. That woman in the front row.
Sure did. Can't blame her though.
Dude, take the sell. Nick Khan was over there within seconds.
Yeah.
from his spot ringside. She knew what she
Like,
was
are you
doing.
all right? We can get you a couple extra shirts. She's like, ah, you're
Ah,
so
my neck.
extra what?
I
think
can't hear you over the sound of my broken neck.
She with a meet and greet.
She probably got some replica titles. Good, good work. But yeah, just we never got what was next.
Now, let me ask you this, Jimmy, Timmy, and Smokey. Would we feel differently had Cena not turned heel and Cody turned heel, as The Rock had wanted? I think it'd just be probably just as much of a lackluster, because here comes Super Cena to defeat the bad guy.
Yeah, I love the Cena heel turn.
At that point, I think Cody would have to retain if he was the heel. And I don't think Cena would have won here at Mania.
I think we get Cena winning either way.
If Cody turns heel and aligns with The Rock, Cody would take the L at WrestleMania? The Rock? No.
That's probably
that would have brought the fucking Rock out at least.
Tim, you're muted again.
I love when Tim does this to himself.
Tim's upset.
I'm sorry. I'm trying to have multiple conversations at the same time. I'm sorry. I think that if it does change, if it is Cody as a heel, Cena wins, period. You do get The Rock, but the whole story changes.
Yeah.
The Rock has to be around.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because now he's in charge of Cody's soul. Like,
right. And you run the F around playground from 41.
Yeah.
Because if The Rock's around, then you're gonna get all the King's horses and all the King's men. You get Stone Cold involved. You even up the odds. You get people one more time.
Then you just get people saying, "Oh, you just copied last year's."
Fine.
Right. If it's not broken, why would you
copy an A, get an A?
Get no A.
But yeah, I think Cena still wins. But I love the Cena heel turn.
I do.
The Cena heel turn's not the problem.
No,
I love
Cena screen.
Love it. Absolutely fucking love it.
Behind him.
The towel behind his head.
He ain't running down. He ain't sliding into the ring. He's using the stairs. This is
so good.
Perfect.
Yeah,
it really is.
This John Cena angle is great.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I still like it. Like him as champion, him counting the number of days that he has done off of his total.
So good.
Like I love that it's not what we would have always expected a heel John Cena run to be. I do like that.
It feels fresh for John Cena, and that's something we can't say for a long time.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Absolutely.
we don't have big match Super John. Like
The last 8 years, the only thing fresh about Cena was a new color towel.
right.
A new color shirt.
So yeah, no, I like what we're getting from Cena. It's just, man, for a WrestleMania main event, when even despite how we feel about matches 1 through 5 or 6 on Saturday, the main event delivered.
Yep.
So then when you're having banger after banger after banger to open up this show, man, this crowd's hot. This feels like WrestleMania. We're finally here. Awesome. What are they going to do to cap this night off?
Women's title match and this shit.
Travis Scott and a dick punch, or excuse me, a dick kick. And that's how we close the show. Man, that was a choice.
Let me ask you this. Why would Cody have not hit John Cena with the belt? Why? I read some, and I brought this up at work today, Jim. Cody Rhodes had no problem using the chair against Kevin Owens.
It's a great point.
What changed with Cody Rhodes? Is it because Cody is no longer flirting with that heel idea because John Cena went heel? Is that so? Cody is okay using the chair against KO on Saturday night's main event, but not the belt at WrestleMania against the guy that kicked him in the dick, aligned with The Rock. What is going on here? Just make it make sense.
Cena was Cena was Cody's hero. And when Cody had the upper hand and had the title, Cena played with his emotions, showed up contrite. It is a page out of Toy Story 3. Lotso hugging Bear terrorizes all those effing toys, and they're at the incinerator. And Lotso, he's like, he's so contrite, and he wants to be saved. And the Buzz and Woody dive in to save him. Lotso gets saved, and Lotso leaves him to effing die.
Never saw it, but thanks for the fucking spoiler, dick.
Big spoiler. Thanks.
I'm
Tim.
sorry. I'm sorry that I wait like 10 years to spoil something as opposed to 10 minutes.
Would never do that. Like, we're just different people, Tim.
See Avengers Endgame.
We're just different people, apparently, you and I.
But he played on Cody's emotions. He was like, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't, please don't. And Cody, like, he who hesitates is lost. Cody thought, he didn't do. And sure enough, that's what bit him.
Well, 21 minutes later, and it was a dog shit main event.
It was stinky doo doo.
Yeah,
it was rough.
It was a bummer.
Very
I'm as curious as I was / am about, you know, where we go with John Cena. I'm curious where we go with Cody Rhodes now. And how does Cody react to losing this way? You know, no words after, very disrespectful to the very respectful Kathy Kelly after the show. Went right to his bus. So I assume we'll probably hear from Cody on Friday. Maybe we won't after this run. Maybe he takes a couple of weeks off and we get a, you know, I'm curious to see what they do with Cody now. In the aftermath. So
I hope he's just fucking insufferable. God. It's just hard times that he just leans into that stupid shit all over again. And it's a new chapter in my story, and I'll get to finish my story again later.
All over again.
Just recycle the whole fucking thing. And everybody hates it. And then everybody stops watching wrestling.
All right. Mark, what grade would you give WrestleMania 41?
Overall, even with the lackluster main event, I'd give it a B.
Okay.
There was good in there, but yeah, I give it a B, just a B.
Tim.
Big C.
Okay.
It meets expectations. All the stuff that was bad and all the stuff that was great evens each other out. C.
All right. Smoke.
I like how you framed that. I have always would have looked at the grade as like an A is excellent, B is good, C is average, D is slightly below average, and F would be failing. This is a D plus WrestleMania because it was below average.
Okay. It's weird. So with my match grading, it came out to I think it was a B minus. But it feels like a C minus or a D plus. And that's again where the closing of the show, especially night 2, you have an opportunity to kind of salvage or destroy, right? Like you night 1.
Yeah, Dana. Hey, Jim just gave a WrestleMania D plus. Can you go check on him, make sure he's okay? I just care for him. I've known him a long time. He's like a brother to me. All right, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Like night 1, the show, first 5 matches, I'm like, this kind of stinks. Like, I'm thrilled that I am hanging out with 2 of my friends, because if I was watching this at home by myself, this would suck.
Yes, this is Tim. I know you're watching Lidded CMS. It's okay. It's not an episode. He's not having a hard episode. I don't know what it is. He's on some medication now. It's a little weird. It's a little wonky. He's not quite himself, but he'll be okay. Thanks for checking in. I know the wellness checks are usually we're calling you guys, but appreciate it. Okay, thanks.
Good for you, Big Jimmy.
I appreciate it, boys. I do. But to close out night one, I got a fantastic main event. I have the best member in the history of the Shield, Seth Rollins, back in the best form of Seth Rollins as a heel. He's on a heater. He got a WrestleMania win. That's a great night of like that makes me feel great coming out of night one. Night two, the opposite story. Starts great. It's hot. We're rocking. This is WrestleMania. Show's over. Oh boy, that happened. That match completely changed. Not even the match, the ending, the lack of an ending. Like if you have that sort of an ending with your wife, she takes you to the doctor to ask for a pill. Like,
yeah, bro, that's for sure.
It just, man, it left a stink. It just left a stink. It left a bad taste. It really did. Devin gives it a D-.
Wow.
D-.
Charlie, I love it, Devin. Good shit.
Charlie, the best. Well, no, Mark gave it a B, right? A straight B. Charlie gives it a D-.
Of all the folks to give this a B, Mark was not the one.
I'm very surprised. I'm very surprised. But
the Dynamite before WrestleMania was better than both nights of WrestleMania.
I caught one match of that and was a great. I got the main event. It was a great main event. I didn't see anything else from it. Mike says C+. Big Mac says C+.
Big Mac, are you happy after watching that? Because I know you were kind of torn about like not being live in attendance there. Does the results of this WrestleMania lessen that blow? Like you can look back in hindsight and be like, all right, if I had to miss one,
I was gonna miss one.
This was the one.
It's got to make him. Yeah, it's got to make him feel good. It's got to.
Like, how do you go to a Mania after hanging out with the 3CT boys anyway?
It's true.
Yep. It's gonna be.
We're gonna redeem his year though, because he's gonna be up here with us for SummerSlam.
I heard you were giving out Blumpkins for SummerSlam.
Hey, don't.
Fest.
That was supposed to stay in the group chat. WWE Unreal. Okay, we're already at 222. I was gonna talk about the Karrion Kross promo because shockingly, maybe more shocking than me giving WrestleMania a C- or a D+.
I feel like we have to have shit to talk about on Thursday, Jim.
We say I want to save that for Thursday.
It's only 2 days away.
We can talk about Raw and save that Karrion Kross promo for Thursday.
Okay.
That's called a cliffhanger.
We will do that Thursday. Is there anything else from Mania or I mean, we can talk more about Raw on Thursday too, but is there anything particularly from last night as it pertains to the 2 nights of Mania that we want to talk about tonight?
I thought it was a pretty good Raw after Mania. I think gone are the days of seeing a bunch of debuts and call-ups. Like I think that a few happened. Don't make the face, Tim. But it's not like the Raw after Mania of like yesteryear, where like for some reason always the one that like when Enzo and Cass get called up is the one that comes to mind. Like that's those Raw after Manias are long gone, and this is treated as day one, I believe, of the new calendar year for the WWE. We got returning Rusev. We, I think, saw 2 other call-ups, maybe. I don't remember. I wasn't paying a ton of attention, but I'm proud that I watched 3 nights of wrestling in a row. So fucking give me my roses.
I am very proud of you for that. I will absolutely say that. I also and this is more of a broad question, not necessarily specifically to you, but to anybody who was watching and more engaged with the NXT product and the WWE product as a whole, back with the Enzo and Cass call-ups or the different things when Raw after Mania felt unpredictable and all of that. If you are less engaged with the product as a whole now, like, will it, the things like a Stephanie Vacour appearance and a Roxanne Perez appearance and the Rusev return, like, do those things, like, oh, this is cool, but it's not as exciting if you're not as engaged as well. Now, and Charlie, we'll talk about this more on Thursday. I
think that's a great point.
I'm not jumping on a cross bandwagon, by the way. This is just the first time I've ever given a shit about anything that guy has done. So let's take it easy on any of that. Big Mac does say it softens the blow, but he says Jim can attest to it that he made it through like 3 matches, and after each one was like, this sucks, feels stupid and weird. Yeah, and even Joe was saying that. Like,
isn't that what you said the first time you had sex, Jim?
Well, yeah.
This sucks. It feels stupid and weird.
But then I did.
Mark, I don't like it. But then I did.
But I said, like, and even like the couple days leading up to it, like, it felt weird a little bit to me this year after going to one WrestleMania.
Yeah.
To then, this year it's like, because last year there was so much buildup to it, like, man, what's happening in the days leading up to it? Like, what am I going to pack? What shirts am I going to wear? I put thought into what I was going to wear for WrestleMania.
I was like, oh, better grab my Brie Bella shirt.
Like, it was, well, Rhea Ripley's on night 1. I'm going to wear my Monday Night Mommy shirt. I'm going to take the Cody Finish the Story t-shirt. That's what I'm wearing on Sunday. Like, there was a bit of a step back this year. So, like, yeah, for somebody like Mike and Joe, who have been to 14 of the last 15, thank you, pandemic. Yeah, I can only imagine how strange it was to not be there. But yeah, in hindsight, you probably dodged a little bit of a bullet. Also, seeing the crowds leaving that show, yikes, boy,
wild.
That looked like my personal hell. Really,
you could have got hit by a golf cart.
I would have jumped in front of a bus just to get out of the mass of people. Are you kidding? Like, that looked terrible. People trying to get up the down escalators, like falling on themselves just to get out of the masses.
Also, the fuck, turn that escalator the opposite direction. That's an escalator. Or turn it off. Worst case scenario, they're just stairs.
Right. Escalator, temporarily stairs. But yeah, like, I mean, you go to a Phillies game. When the pregame, the escalators are going up. At the end of the game, they're coming down. Like, why would you just have an escalator going the direction that nobody's heading? Nobody's heading back into the stadium.
Just unplug that bitch for the night.
Right, just make them stairs. Just give it one more aisle of stairs for people to go up.
Insane.
It should have an
I'm not even smart.
No, we're not. We're not. Oh God, I'm just thinking about that crowd of people. I hate it so much. Anything else from Mania weekend, boys?
Dog shit Mania.
It was a beautiful weekend. Easter weekend. It was a good weekend.
Yeah. Fuck you. Don't overdo it over Easter if it's stupid and bullshit.
Next year, not over Easter. So
we're out of here with the Easter shit.
We're
this
good.
Is what the WWE deserves.
It's Matt's anniversary, though. That's the thing.
They got what they deserve. That's right. They got what they deserve. All right. We are going to, after 2.5 hours, this is one of our longer shows.
Man.
This is last week we went over 2.
With us.
We will be back to a 1-hour live show on Thursday. I promise.
I ain't watching wrestling anymore, so I ain't got nothing to talk about on Thursday. It'll be great.
We'll talk about the little bit of wrestling that you did watch. But thank you, everyone, for tuning in, for playing along again. Thank you to Devin for sending us a voicemail for the show. You can leave us a voicemail both for Thursday show and Tuesday show, 717-473-7833. You can also get it in the episode description. But make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe, interact with us. We appreciate it. We literally would not need to do this if it wasn't for you and your support. You can get us on all of the podcast platforms. You can get us on YouTube. Give us a subscribe over there. Get your merchandise over at on our TeePublic store. Until Thursday when we're back live on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube. Make sure you stay safe, stay smart, and as always, go for the pin.